assume that this level of dissemination with this margin of error and other people touching them, and, they probably did the math on that, right? I didn't. But that's kind of a good example of like how far you can go in the risk of discovery. Stuff like Stuxnet. That's another good example of, I think it was the radiant enrichment facilities, where, I can't remember the full story here, but there was like a thumb drive with a worm on it, and it got in, then basically it got carried into this enrichment facility, and it would damage the part of the enrichment machinery, right? But didn't do it all at once. Randomly pick one or the other because you don't want to be discovered, right? If you did it all at once, you're like, one, whatever, it must be bad, right? Like, so there's like the psychology of making sure it doesn't seem like it's something to investigate. It's like, bad machines, must be bad process. Like, I'm doing that. Eventually, I can't remember how it got discovered, but there was an issue where it started spreading around elsewhere, like the worm or something like that, and somebody noticed it. I can't fully remember, but there was a discovery event because it kind of got too wide. And once it's discovered, okay, now you can defend against it. Now you can find them in the wild. The moment somebody found anything in our stuff, they're going to tell the world, like, hey, look at this cool thing I found. I'm a security researcher. So, that said, on the flip side, there's plenty of places we don't look. Most of the stuff we find in there is just vulnerabilities. Like, I didn't think there would be a hole on whatever, some aspect of a product. Like, if you just log in 10 times, do this, you get in, bypass everything. It's like, what? That's the type of stuff that's typically, nobody thought to try that. So, yeah, it really depends. Physical implants are much easier to discover because they're physically there. You can't revoke them. You can't be like, self-delete. It's there. Not counting the pager situation, it's a different type of delete, but, delete in a way that doesn't leave the evidence around.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, what's in your head, man? What's next for you?
I don't know yet. I'm just gonna...
What are you thinking about?
Like, I have been focusing more on personal stuff, just like hanging out with my kids, spending more time with them while I got the time in there. We're always in touch with our team, so,
You can shut it off.
So learning how to do that is part of it. So,
I gotta learn how to do that.
Yeah.
You do.
It's hard.
Because you love this. I can tell this is your passion.
Yeah.
You're moving into this full time. This is gonna be your full-time business.
Yeah.
Wait, is this for next? Oh my god, is that a live stream? Oh, yup, exactly. What is...
Give me a snapshot.
I mean, here.
What are some of your ideas?
Here's an example. So I'm reusing the stadium plan a couple of ways. So again, this is an easy one. So USB evidence, basically, right? I had a thing where customers were enjoying the firmware so much for cable development, they would get the cable and cut the end off. Dude, no, that's my baby. What are you doing? So, there we go. Keychains that, don't have the cable on it. Cool. Got that. And here's another one. Are you familiar with USB data blockers?
No.
So, it's a commonly recommended, secure charging mechanism. You're like, I can't trust the airport charger or something like that. You're like, well, get a data blocker.
Can you trust an airport charger?
Mostly, I'm personally more concerned about the quality of the electricity coming out of there frying my phone than I am about, a data situation. Because, going back to the discoverability, you put something in a wide space like that, once it gets infected, you hear about it.
Gotcha.
And especially in a secure space, all the airport locations. Everybody's on camera, right? Good luck. It would be really hard. There's advisories that come out, and I think the FBI was doing them. They get a lot of flack for that because there's no proof it existed, but I don't know. I don't have the intelligence they have either. So, there's things you could do. I also don't consider my creativity to be all inclusive in all ways. You can pick something negative. Like there's plenty of people with different motives and minds than me. So yeah, we'll see. It'd be a cool story, but yeah, data blockers. That's the idea. You now have safe charging. I'm like, cool. I'll put one of my things in a data blocker. Cat and mouse.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. But that's an example. Just kind of chase that a little bit. Go from there. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you have any wazoo crazy inventions that you're dreaming of?
I've done a lot on the manufacturing side, so I've had to invent so many tools and mechanisms, both for creating these cables, which turns into their own products. So, teaching other people how to use them and brakes, you got to do support for those products. Their own PCBs and everything. It's a perfect product. It's a perfect. You can test these cables at multiple stages. So I'm still packing these at home with kids, and the envelopes, right? I gotta label those. It gets really annoying over time. I'm like, I'm afraid of machine labels. So I just keep chasing that down and see how much I can do. There's a guy called Cliff Stone. He does a lot of really cool things: science, math. He's got a book on security, but he also makes something called Klein bottles. Total deviation here, but you'll see why. So Klein bottles are, a Mobius strip. You take a strip of paper and you pull the ends up, rotate, tape them together, and then you got a 1D dimension, so you can all around your pen is one dimensional. Klein bottle is a 3D version of that. Anyway, I think he lives in Palo Alto, it's a small place. He runs distribution entirely out of his house for that. So under his house, he has built an entire robotic warehouse system. He drives the thing around, pulls the stuff out. I think that's cool as hell. And it goes back to the old school hacker mindset of just doing that. That kind of stuff just catches me. Okay, cool. I want to do as much manufacturing at home as I can. Because my stuff's really small. So let's just see how far I can take it, how much more I can optimize. This orange clip that goes on these things that I ship with, so you know which ones are bad. I redesigned them 6 times so far. Just wow. I don't know. I just want to see how much further can I take it. Yeah.
So are you manufacturing these yourself, or?
It's a mix. So the process for it, I'm going to go back to this PCB as a reference here, real quick. The process that I'm kind of taking right now is I ask one manufacturer make the PCB that Green gives here. Then that gets shipped to another place that assembles the components to the PCB. They're basically running with high heat that melts solder, and they all get glued to the motor, right? Another big functional piece of and now, once it's glued to the board, here's one of my implants, and we can get some close-ups later. But here, that's one of the implants. That's the size of it.
This is what goes in the little USB thing.
Yeah, inside the cable.
This little bitty ass thing.
Yep.
Connects to the internet.
Yep. It's
wow. Why the fuck is my modem so big?
Yeah, I know.